You come at the queen, you best not miss. But what happens when the queen herself takes the shot and it ricochets back, hitting her square in the reputation? What happens when the established face of the WNBA tries to put a rookie in her place, only to watch that rookie become even more powerful in the process? Welcome back. Today we're diving into one of the most fascinating power struggles the WNBA has ever seen: A'ja Wilson versus Caitlin Clark. And here's the thing. This isn't just about basketball. This is about money, marketing, and a changing of the guard that some people are fighting tooth and nail to prevent. Because when A'ja Wilson, the two-time MVP, the face of the Las Vegas Aces, decided to take shots at Caitlin Clark, she thought she was defending her throne. She thought she was reminding everyone whose league this really is. But the reaction, the backlash from fans, the business metrics, the way Caitlin responded on the court, it backfired so spectacularly that A'ja might be regretting every word, every side-eye, every hard foul. And we're going to break down exactly how this strategy imploded and why it might be too late to fix the damage. Let's be real for a second. Many of you have been saying this for weeks. You've been watching the tension build, seeing the shade thrown in interviews, noticing how certain veterans seem more focused on Caitlin than on winning games. You were on to something, because what we're witnessing isn't just competition, it's insecurity playing out on a national stage. If you believe the story behind the story matters, if you want to understand the real dynamics shaping the WNBA right now, smash that like button. It tells us we're on the right track, and it helps more people see what's really happening here. So let's set the foundation, because context is everything. A'ja Wilson has been the standard bearer for years. Her resume is undeniable: two-time MVP, champion, defensive player of the year. She's carried the torch for the WNBA through some of its toughest years. She's earned her flowers. Nobody is taking that away from her. But then along comes Caitlin Clark, a 22-year-old rookie who hasn't even played a full professional season yet. And suddenly, she's selling out arenas that A'ja couldn't fill in 5 years of dominance. Think about that for a second. Caitlin signs a $28 million shoe deal with Nike before she plays a single WNBA game, the biggest endorsement deal in women's basketball history. She's getting signature shoe buzz that A'ja has been chasing for years. She's bringing in television ratings that the league hasn't seen in decades. And all of this is happening while A'ja Wilson is in her prime, putting up MVP numbers and feeling like she's being treated like yesterday's news. You think that didn't sting? You think A'ja, watching this 22-year-old from Iowa get red carpet treatment before proving anything at the professional level, wasn't feeling some type of way? Of course she was. And that frustration, that resentment, started bubbling over in ways that were impossible to ignore. It started subtle. Comments about charter flights and how some players get special treatment, tweets about fairness and equity that seemed pointed at one specific person. Then it got more direct. A'ja made comments implying that Caitlin's popularity was largely about race, suggesting that being white in a predominantly black league gave her an unfair advantage. She tried to diminish Caitlin's college dominance by pointing out that the professional game is different, that rookies need to be humbled, that there are levels to this. The message was clear. Caitlin Clark might have hype, but A'ja Wilson has the crown, and A'ja was determined to remind everyone of that fact. The problem? In trying to put Caitlin in her place, A'ja inadvertently put a spotlight on her own insecurities. And that's where the backfire begins. See, when you're the undisputed best, when you're secure in your position, you don't need to spend energy diminishing a rookie. You welcome them, you mentor them, you let your game speak for itself. But when you're constantly throwing shade, when you're going out of your way to discredit someone who hasn't even challenged you yet, it sends a message. And that message is, I'm threatened. A'ja Wilson confirmed that Caitlin Clark is a legitimate threat by treating her like one. She elevated Caitlin's status simply by acknowledging her as an enemy. You don't send double teams and hard fouls at a nobody. You do that to a killer, and by doing it to Caitlin from day one, Aja told the world exactly what she was afraid of. Let's talk about what happened on the court, because this is where the strategy really fell apart. The first time the Aces played the Fever, everyone was watching. The anticipation was electric. This was supposed to be Aja's coronation moment, the chance to show the world that there are levels to this game, that rookies need to earn their respect, that hype doesn't translate to results against real competition. The Aces came out aggressive. They were pressing Caitlin full court, sending double teams, playing physical. Aja was locked in, trying to block every shot, score on every possession. And yes, Aja put up numbers. She's an elite player. Nobody denies that. But here's the thing. The story of that game wasn't Aja's greatness. The story was, why are the defending champions playing like it's Game 7 of the finals against a lottery team? Why does this feel so desperate? In the middle of all that pressure, Caitlin hit her signature step-back threes. She threaded passes through impossible windows. She didn't back down. She didn't look scared. And when the final buzzer sounded, the conversation wasn't about Aja dominating. The conversation was about the hate, about the jealousy, about why WNBA veterans seem so threatened by a rookie. Aja wanted the headline to be Wilson Schools Clark. Instead, the headline was, why are WNBA vets so insecure about Caitlin Clark? That's a massive PR failure. That's a backfire of epic proportions. Aja Wilson, who spent years building a brand of leadership and positivity, suddenly looked like the villain in her own story. And here's where it gets even worse for Aja. The constant attacks on Caitlin didn't diminish her popularity. They amplified it. Every time a veteran threw shade, Caitlin's jersey sales went up. Every time they tried to haze her, TV ratings spiked because people wanted to see if the rookie could survive. Aja tried to protect her kingdom, but all she did was hand Caitlin the keys to the castle. Look at the optics here. You have Aja Wilson, a solidified legend, looking bitter and pressed, and you have Caitlin Clark taking the hits, getting back up and not saying a word. She's not trash-talking in interviews. She's not firing back on social media. She's just playing basketball. And that silence, that stoic refusal to engage in the drama, is driving Aja crazy. It's the ultimate power move. By not reacting to Aja's attempts to embarrass her, Caitlin is essentially saying, I'm here to play basketball. You're here to play games. And we all know which one matters more. Connecting the dots reveals something even bigger. This isn't just about on-court rivalry. This is about business. Let's talk about that shoe deal, because you can't separate the money from the hate. When news broke that Caitlin was getting $28 million and a signature shoe, Aja's reaction was immediate and telling. She posted tweets. She liked comments criticizing the deal. She made it abundantly clear she felt disrespected. And look, she has a point. Aja Wilson should have had a signature shoe years ago. She's a multi-time champion. She's put in the work. But instead of directing that frustration at Nike or at the system that failed to market WNBA stars effectively for a decade, it felt like she directed all that energy at Caitlin. She tried to make Caitlin the face of privilege in the league. She tried to embarrass Caitlin by implying she didn't earn it, that it was just hype and marketing. But here's where that strategy completely backfired. When you look at the actual numbers, the ticket sales, the viewership, the merchandise, Caitlin Clark is generating more revenue for the league in 6 months than most players do in a lifetime. Those are facts, and facts don't care about feelings. Drop a comment below and let me know. Do you think Aja has a legitimate gripe about the shoe deal? Or is she just mad that someone else figured out how to move the needle? I want to hear your perspective on this, because this conversation is bigger than just two players. This is about how the league values its stars and who controls that narrative. By attacking Caitlin's business success, Aja just highlighted the fact that she wasn't moving the needle the same way. It forced a comparison that Aja actually loses when we talk about business metrics. It made people dig into the numbers and realize, wait, Caitlin actually is underpaid for the value she brings. Aja tried to expose Caitlin as an industry plant, but instead, She exposed the WNBA's failure to market its own stars effectively for the last decade. She opened a door she probably wishes she'd kept closed. And let's talk about the fan base, because this is the most dangerous part of the backfire for Aja. The WNBA has had a core fan base for years, dedicated, loyal, passionate fans who've supported the league through everything. But Caitlin Clark brought in millions of new fans, casual sports fans, college basketball fans, people who'd never watched a WNBA game in their lives. These people don't know the history, they don't know the politics, they just see a talented rookie being targeted by angry veterans. When you try to embarrass the fan favorite, you become the enemy of the people. We're seeing comments all over social media saying, "I used to like Aja, but this behavior is ugly. Why is she so bitter? She's acting like a high school bully." That's brand damage that's incredibly hard to fix. And it's especially painful because it's self-inflicted. Reading between the lines, here's the tragic irony. If Aja Wilson had just embraced Caitlin Clark, if she'd welcomed her and said, "Let's grow this league together," Aja would be the ultimate hero right now. She'd be the benevolent queen guiding the next generation. She'd be selling more shoes, getting more endorsements, because the rising tide lifts all boats. Everyone would win, but she chose conflict. She chose to try and humble her. And now she looks like the old guard clinging to power that's slipping away like sand through her fingers. We also have to talk about the defensive strategy the Aces employed, because this was supposed to be the ultimate embarrassment moment. The game plan was clear. Pressure Caitlin full court, pick her up at 90 feet, force turnovers, make her look incompetent handling the ball. And sure, Caitlin had turnovers. She's a rookie point guard on a rebuilding team facing the defending champions. That's expected. But every time she broke that press, every time she split the defense and found an open teammate, every time she pulled up from 30 feet and drained it in Aja's face, it made the Aces' defensive intensity look silly. It looked like overkill. You brought a tank to a knife fight and still got cut. When you try that hard to stop one player and she still drops 15 to 20 points and 7 assists, you haven't embarrassed her. You've validated her. You've told everyone watching that this rookie is so dangerous, you need to dedicate your entire defensive scheme to stopping her. That's not humiliation. That's respect disguised as hostility. Furthermore, let's filter out the noise and look at the chemistry within the league. Other players are starting to see this backfire too. We're seeing veterans realize that the hate Caitlin train is a bad look, and Aja is the conductor of that train. If the league perception shifts and people start seeing the veterans as bitter, that hurts everyone's pockets. The new media rights deal is coming up. The valuation of the league is skyrocketing because of the Caitlin Clark effect. By trying to embarrass the cash cow, Aja Wilson is essentially biting the hand that's about to feed her a max contract. It's short-sighted, it's emotional, and it's terrible business. Meanwhile, Caitlin's response to all of this has been the ultimate kill them with kindness and kill them with success. She praises Aja in interviews. She calls her a great player. She respects the game. And that contrast makes Aja's aggression look even worse. It makes Aja look unprovoked. It paints a picture of a one-sided beef where the veteran is shadowboxing a ghost. Caitlin is living rent-free in Aja's head, and she isn't even paying utilities. So where do we go from here? The attempt to embarrass Caitlin Clark has failed. Then welcome to the WNBA, Skepta. Moments have come and gone, and she's still standing. She's still starting. She's still selling out arenas. The narrative has shifted from "Can Caitlin survive?" to "Why won't the vets let her live?" Aja Wilson needs to pivot. She needs to realize that this strategy backfired and change course immediately. Because right now, every time she rolls her eyes, every time she throws a subtweet, she loses a little bit more of the respect she worked so hard to earn. The reality is, the torch is being passed whether Aja likes it or not. It doesn't mean Aja isn't great anymore. It doesn't mean she isn't an MVP, but it means she's not the only story anymore. And trying to embarrass the new story doesn't make you the main character again. It just makes you the villain. And in sports, in life, the villain usually loses in the end. A'ja Wilson tried to play the game of public perception. She tried to play the game of humiliation, and she lost instantly. The fans rallied behind the underdog. The numbers supported the rookie. And the game of basketball remained the same. The ball goes in the hoop. As long as Caitlin Clark keeps putting the ball in the hoop from distances we've never seen before, no amount of shade, no amount of hard fouls, no amount of veteran pettiness can stop what's coming. The league is changing, the audience is changing, and the players who adapt will thrive, while the ones who resist will be left behind, wondering what happened. Before we wrap, if you've made it this far, you're exactly the type of person who gets it. You see beyond the surface. You understand the business and the psychology, the power dynamics at play. So do me a favor, subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell, and share this video with someone who needs to understand what's really happening in the WNBA right now. Because this story is far from over. The playoffs are coming. And if these two teams meet again, if A'ja and Caitlin face off with everything on the line, it's going to be absolute must-watch television. Will A'ja find a way to reclaim her narrative, or will Caitlin complete the takeover? We'll be here to break it all down. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.